Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And in today's recipe, we're gonna make a white chicken enchilada soup. So the only ingredients you're gonna need for today's recipe, you're gonna need some olive oil cooking spray, some chicken breast here, okay? You're also going to need 3 to 4 cups of chicken stock, 1 can of green enchilada sauce, and you're gonna need some taco seasoning, or if you want to use fajita seasoning, you can do that as well. You're also going to need 2 cans of white northern beans, okay, that I've drained. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spray our crock pot. We spray the inside. Now, why do we spray? We spray so that way nothing sticks to the bottom. Okay, now, the next thing we're gonna do, now because this is the way I do the recipe. Now, you guys have seen my videos. If you guys have seen I've filmed so many videos. You guys already know that this is what I like to do with the slow cooker. Anytime we make a slow cooker meal, from here on out, this is what we're gonna do from now on. We're gonna take this out. I'm gonna hold it with one hand. I'm gonna remove this. We don't need this until a little bit later, once we start cooking, okay? We need this. This is the only thing I want in the recipe video, just the inner pot itself, okay? Okay, so the first thing we do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add the chicken to the slow cooker. So, now when adding your chicken to your slow cooker, I'm gonna actually turn it this way. That way I have my book in front of me, right? When adding your chicken to your slow cooker, you want to make sure that you're adding them in, but you're going to make sure you add them in a single layer. So that way everything is kind of, fits in there real good. And this is a soup, by the way, like I said in the beginning of the recipe. We are making soup. So this is going to look liquidy right now. But after 4 hours of cooking on high, then we're going to add some cream cheese to thicken it up a little bit. We're gonna add some salsa verde, and then we're gonna let it cook on low for a little bit as well, okay? So let's go ahead and start the recipe. So we're gonna add in our chicken. Now these chicken breasts are still frozen, and like I've kind of talked to you guys about this before, that when you cook chicken in a slow cooker, you're allowed to put your chicken breast in frozen. It doesn't matter, now me personally, what I do, when I make chicken breast, or when I make any kind of meal with chicken in it, I like to thaw out my chicken. But sometimes my chicken is not fully defrosted. So sometimes we have to cook it a little bit first, but that's okay. It's still defrosted a little bit, it's okay. And it's gonna cook beautifully in the slow cooker. Now, next thing, after we add our chicken, we're going to add the seasoning mix on top of the chicken. Now, when we season this chicken breast, we're not going to season one side. We have to season both sides of the meat, so then that way the meat is evenly well seasoned. And in the bowl here, I will show you, in this bowl, there is fat. And like I always say, we do not add the fat to the chicken, there's fat on the chicken, but we don't add these little pieces of fat in the bowl because that's not, something that I do. Okay, so now we're gonna add the seasoning here that I've just talked about. Okay, we're gonna sprinkle it on the meat, and we're gonna season this really, really good with this seasoning. We're seasoning on both sides, so then that way this meat can get well seasoned, and it's gonna taste so good at dinner time, I promise you. Okay, now this recipe, of course, can be adapted. You can adapt this to any way you want. It doesn't really matter. Now both sides, so we have to flip it over, because we have to make sure that both sides are evenly seasoned, so then that way this chicken is nice and seasoned. It's gonna be so flavorful and so delicious. Now, the back of the chicken, let's do the same thing with the remaining seasoning. Take it all and season up your chicken good, okay? We definitely wanna make sure we season it because, like I always say, this is the only chance you get to season up your chicken breast, okay? This is really the only chance you get. Because once it starts cooking, you can't really season it after. So this is the only chance you get to season up the chicken. But kind of take your hands and go in with the chicken. Okay? Now, once you have your chicken breast all seasoned, Okay, they're all in a slow cooker, all nice and oily as well. You're going to take your gloves off because now we're going to do the next step of this recipe. Now the next step of the recipe is we got to wash our hands because we just touched that raw meat. Okay, I always wash my hands. Now I've discussed this before, and I will remind you. Even though we work with our gloves, we're still required to wash our hands because we're still touching raw poultry. Okay. So, and then once I'm done washing my hands, we will go ahead and proceed with the recipe. Now, this recipe is very simple to make. And honestly, like, it's not really that hard of a recipe. It's essentially a dump and go meal, which I love. Everybody loves a dump and go crock pot meal, you know. But, you know, like, dump and go slow cooker meals are very forgiving, and they're very, very easy to make. Okay, so now that we have our chicken breast in there, it's all seasoned. And another, like I said, the other ingredients you'll also need is cream cheese and salsa verde, but we do not add those until later, okay? So I have those off to the side until right before we're gonna need them, which is later on. Okay, so we have our chicken breast seasoned. Now the next thing we add is we're gonna go ahead and add our, we're gonna go to step 2. We're gonna add the green enchilada sauce, which is right here. See? Green enchilada sauce. All right, now this is going to be your liquid. Essentially, it's going to go all over your chicken, and it's going to be so good. Now, if you've never heard of white chicken enchilada soup, essentially, and this is going to go all over our chicken, okay? Essentially, what it is it's white. It's basically what you think of it. It's chicken with enchilada sauce. There's a little bit of broth in it. And you can add beans if you want. If you want to add beans, you can. You do not have to do that, but if you want to, you certainly can. Now, I know this looks like, what does this look like right now, guys? This looks like chicken tacos, doesn't it? Look at that. Look. See? If we were just going to leave it like that, it would turn into chicken tacos, but that's not what we're going for. We're not going for chicken tacos. We're going for soup. So now that we have our enchilada sauce in there, we're going to do the next thing. We're also going to, we're going to add our chicken broth. 3 cups. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Chicken broth. Yep, chicken broth goes in next. 3 cups, almost 4. Okay. Oh, yummy. It's going to be so good. And then we're going to add our beans. So, and I have, now, you notice I have the beans sitting on this paper towel because when I was draining them out, they release a lot of, they still release a lot of juice. So this is why I have them sitting on paper towel. But, in go the beans into our slow cooker. Woo! There's no need to stir. We're not going to, okay? So if I can pick this up without dropping it, let's just be careful, okay? The slow cooker is really full now. So this is what your soup should look like with all your ingredients. I'll walk up there. See? All the ingredients are in there. The chicken, the seasoning mix, the broth, the beans, everything is in there. It looks perfect. Now, let's go ahead and do the rest of the recipe. Now, obviously, we cannot cook it. Oh, hold on. Let me get this stuff out of my way. Okay. Obviously, we cannot cook it like this. Look at, see? You can't cook it like this, can ya? It just won't do. Okay, so we actually have to, I'm going to grab the insert to my slow cooker. I'm also going to grab the lid, and then I will discuss what we're going to do next. So, I have my lid here. Cover it. And like I said before, we cannot cook it like this. We had to actually grab the base. So let's grab the base too. And if you guys hear any rumbling back there, it was just my ice maker. So, you know. Alright. Put put it in here like this. Ooh, now this is a heavy slow cooker, isn't it, guys? Because all that broth we added. All right. We're gonna cook it right here, actually. So that was all the ingredients. Now, I will read through what we're gonna do. Once we get this going, I'll read what we're gonna do after we're done cooking this on high. Okay? So there's a couple things we gotta do to the soup once we're done, because it's not gonna really. It is gonna still look like. It's not gonna really look like this once it's done. Okay? It'll look totally different after it's done cooking. And I gotta move this over a little bit closer to me. I don't think this thing is close enough. There we go. All right. Plug it in. Power on. We're gonna hit program, and 4 hours is perfect because the recipe says, let's read our directions. So the recipe says to cover and cook 3 to 4 hours on high. Okay, that's what we're doing. So 4 hours, which is what I want. We're gonna hit enter. High is what I want. Cook, done. Now, the next thing we're going to do after we cover and cook, and I'm going to read the directions to you so that way you'll know what we're going to do next. So the next thing we're going to do after this is cooked for 4 hours, and once I go ahead and shred it, we're going to stir in cream cheese, and we're going to make sure it's at room temperature. So I have it out, just sitting out on my counter, just hanging out, letting it come to room temperature. Then we're going to do it says shredded cheese if you want, but you know, it says shredded cheese, half and half, and salsa verde. Continue cooking. Now this is the difference. We're gonna cook this on high for 4 hours, but once we're done, we're gonna add the remaining ingredients. Then we're gonna cook it on low until melted and thickened for 30 minutes or less, probably. Okay? We're gonna cook it on low for 30 minutes until this is done, until it's thickened. Okay? And then we're gonna, after that, I'll come back and I'll dish you up a bowl of this white chicken enchilada soup. Okay, so again, 4 hours on high cooking. Don't take the lid off, none of that. Then we're gonna come back. We're gonna add the remaining ingredients, and we're gonna cook it. We're gonna turn the slow cooker to low, and we're gonna cook it for 30 more minutes. For 30 minutes on low until everything is thickened. Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this recipe. We'll be back in a little bit to show you what it looks like. Bye, vlog on. Peace out. Boom. Okay. Bye, guys.